So, as of this upload, we just got a pretty big free update the other day, and it added Ultra Instinct. So, naturally, here I am to give you all of the important details on this new Awoken skill. So let's get right into it. Ultra Instinct is an Awoken skill that can be obtained by completing a pretty quick and easy fight against full-powered Jiren, who is located to the left and just beyond the archway you spawn in at. If for any reason you're not finding him there, the two best pieces of advice I can give you is either level up your character some more, or advance the story further. The description reads, "Unlock your true potential and awaken a power beyond that of a god. Consume stamina and automatically dodge attacks. Use X right after dodging to counterattack, and use triangle while guarding to charge ki. Your normal and charged ki blasts are improved as well. So there's a lot of unique features to this Awoken. Let's take a deeper dive. Ultra Instinct requires 5 bars of ki, and just like Beast, it will consume those 5 bars upon activation. It has quite a long animation to sit through. However, up until the change in camera angle, you actually have counter frames. Up until you hit that cinematic camera change, you will actually counter any move that your opponent throws your way. Basic attacks, grabs, ki blast supers, strike supers, you name it. The counter will even activate during times when you would normally get stamina broken, like on a heavy smash or a double burst dash. Now, it's a little weird when it comes to ultimate attacks of both the ki and strike varieties. The counter will activate and get you out of harm's way, but whether or not you actually land the counter in these situations is just going to depend on what ultimate you're being hit by and if you can time it right. Be wary though, because once that camera angle starts to change, your counter frames will wear off and you can be stamina broken at that point. A well-timed heavy smash or double burst dash by the opponent will land you in deep trouble. Ultra Instinct does have a knockback factor to it as well, just like most other Awoken skills. This portion can be perfect blocked into a heavy smash for a stamina break too. So, just be cautious and aware when going into this Awoken skill. Now, once you successfully transform, your character will have an auto dodge feature that will allow you to completely avoid basic attacks, basic grabs, and basic ki blasts. However, it is at the expense of 1 stamina per dodge, which makes this a feature that can really guzzle your stamina if you let it. On top of that, charged ki blasts, ki supers, strike supers, as well as ki ultimates and strike ultimates will not be dodged automatically and completely blow right past this feature. This includes skills that count as grabs. They will get you too. Now, when you do find yourself in a situation where you're able to make use of the auto dodge, a properly timed input of the X button on PlayStation or the A button on Xbox will allow you to perform a counterattack similar to the one that you get on the Awoken's startup counter frames. But this one will actually cost you 2 bars of ki. I would advise going into training mode and practicing the timing on this attack before trying it out in the field. On a side note, the damage of the startup counter seems to be unaffected by your stat points, while this one that we just mentioned here will do more damage the more you invest in basic attack. Next, let me tell you about how Ultra Instinct changes up your basic and charged ki blasts. When you tap the input for the basic ki blast, you will basically perform Soaring Fist, except you can only do 1 punch at a time. There is no way to do multiple. However, just like with Soaring Fist, you can use this basic ki blast to continue your combo. It works best off of knockbacks for sure. Throwing one of these out there at random points in the middle of your basic attack combos works great too. It can work well off of knockdowns, but you have to be close enough to the ground for it to connect. It can also work just fine as an approach tool. You can still keep your combo going, even if this is the first hit of that combo. Just be aware that the range is fairly limited here. Now, you can still perform steps and dashes immediately after using this basic Ki Blast, but because the animation is slower than the usual basic Ki Blast, it is more difficult to perform ki cancels. So, if that's something that you like to do, then just take note. Moving on to the charged Ki Blast, I don't really find anything too noteworthy about it. It's basically just Spirit Pulse. You can't continue your combos off of it, and it's basically just something you can throw out there at the end of your combos, perhaps in a situation where you don't have any ki to follow up with a super attack. The last super special feature of Ultra Instinct is that it has its own built-in ki charging mechanic. By holding the block button, as well as triangle on PlayStation or Y on Xbox, you will perform Surging Spirit, which works in much the same way as Ultimate Charge, where the longer you hold down the button, the faster you will charge up. This is pretty neat, as it means you can have 4 super attacks equipped while still having the ability to charge your ki. This is honestly how I think they should have implemented charging, just in general in the game, but I digress. Now, one important downside of Ultra Instinct to consider is that it does not boost any of your stats. It doesn't boost any of your damage. It does not provide a defense buff. Nor does it seem to buff your ki or stamina recovery speed either. On the upside, though, it doesn't seem to nerf any of these factors either, so that part's pretty nice. But at the same time, not having any buffs of this nature makes it really hard to say that this Awoken skill can be used in a practical manner. After all, when PvE is concerned, the number one rule is more damage, more gooder. And considering how there's so many other Awokens that offer more damage, it makes Ultra Instinct a pretty bottom-of-the-barrel option in PvE. In PvP, it's hard to place as well, considering how much stamina the form can potentially consume, as well as the slower ki cancels. Which leads me to the conclusion that the only real reason to use this Awoken skill is just because it's cool and fun. And just for point of reference, I test all these skills on a type of male Saiyan hybrid between strikes and ki blasts, with no super soul, so the damage seen in these videos can definitely be taken to greater heights. And that'll do you for Ultra Instinct. A very unique and interesting, yet somewhat baffling and questionable Awoken skill. Now, there are hundreds, literally hundreds of skills in this game, and I'm trying to cover them all for you guys. But the odds of me knowing every last detail for every last skill might just be a little unlikely. So if there are any details that I happen to have missed, be sure to let us all know down in the comments. Also, this skill was tested on version 1.37 of the game. So if any future updates change how this skill works, also be sure to let us know. We all certainly would appreciate it. But with all that being said, I think that's about my cue to bounce. I hope you found what you were looking for in this video, and until we meet again, make sure you take care. See ya!